Okay, so you guys just saw me listen to the heart sounds and interact with the patient. I have myself muted here so we can kind of go over what I did. So grabbing that stethoscope again, if you guys haven't watched the cardiac assessment video course, make sure you go back and watch that, as I'm not going over all the details. I'm just simply showing you, the actual physical demonstration of doing a cardiac assessment. But just to go over the landmarks here, there's 5 landmarks, and you want to start in a sequential pattern. You're going from top to bottom, as you see here. So on the right second intercostal space is your aortic area, and of course it kind of describes exactly what you're listening to. Is you're listening to the aortic valve here. Okay, that's the best place to listen for the any aortic valve issues. And then going on to the left second intercostal space is the pulmonic valve. And once again, self-explanatory, is it's listening to the pulmonic valve of the right side of the heart. So it goes from the right ventricle to the pulmonic valve and up to the lungs to get their perfusion out. Okay, and then we move down to Erb's point. This is helping you listen to both aortic and pulmonic. It's just not as specific as each of the ones we just described. And then we're moving to the tricuspid area, tricuspid being on the right side of the heart, in between the right atria and the right ventricle. This is a good place to hear any deficiencies going on with your tricuspid area. And then lastly, your mitral area. Of course, we all know this spot, the 5th intercostal space. It is a very important place you must listen to all. And no matter what you do, of course, listening to the mitral area is very important. And that's because it's not only, helping you listen to the mitral valve, but the left ventricle is very important, as we all know, as it is important for, perfusing the entire body. But the mitral valve is important as well, because if that's not working, you're going to have a lot of left ventricle issues as well. So this is a very important, piece to listen to. And this is where you always hear, the apical impulse is also what this spot is. And typically you want to listen for at least 30 seconds, but it's recommended for a whole minute. And as I'm listening, I'm looking at the monitor to make sure that it is matching up. Of course, especially if you have a patient that's showing some kind of funky rhythm, don't forget to grab your stethoscope and go ahead and listen to make sure that what you're seeing on that monitor is actually true, because you'll find out that a lot of the times those monitors will tell you, oh, it's VFib or VTAC, but then you go listen and their heart's completely fine. A lot of times when you do that movement, a lot of patients don't stay still, of course. No one does. And when they're moving around, you can see some pretty crazy rhythms that look real, but when you go and listen, it's totally not right. And that's happened to me plenty of times, believe it or not.